shine a light in the darkest night, because we believe in hard work and faith to Sierra Leone way. We hold the line, come what may.
Them one set we more them, but we go shout. Now the poor man voice we they bring out.
Now we are right for know the truth. Now that make we go protect the truth.
True big and not they neglect anyone.
We are the voice, we are the flame. Truth will rise, they'll know our name. We are the truth and nothing else.
Truth may get, we know they play.
Now for Salon, we declare the way. Tune in every day to
Truth me get radio.
oh, 3.9. Oh,
Truth me get radio.
3.9. Radio to
You listen to
media.
Truth Radio 103.9 FM, live from
Radio
Freetown.
to
That's
media.
the last.
Radio to media. Radio to media.
You listen to Truth Radio 103.9 FM, live from Freetown. That's the last.
Their best to stop our progress with bad propaganda. I mean the foreign press. Bad things are blown out of proportion and spread all around. But the good things of the island they will never mention. Like our scholars have sit and passed every test. There's nothing about that in the foreign press. You know our music is rated amongst the best. There's nothing about that in the foreign press. But if a man still a man.
Good morning, Freetown. Good morning, Sierra, and a warm greetings to our listeners across the globe, especially those of you tuning in from the diaspora. Welcome to Truth Radio 103.9 FM. My name is Christian Conte, and this is Stop Press, the program that brings you sharp analysis, bold conversations, and stories behind the headlines across radio, television, and print media. Today, we turn our spotlight on health reporting, a bit that often is being overlooked, but it's very deeply essential for all of us. And joining me is someone who's made his mission to change that narrative as far as health reporting is concerned. He's a seasoned journalist, he's a multiple award-winning editor, and one of Sierra Leone's leading voices as far as health journalism is concerned. He served as editor for a political newspaper and now leads Manor Reporters with a clear focus, public health, accountability, among other stories. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome to Stop Press, Kemo Cham. Kemo, good morning, welcome to Truth Media.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, so this is the first time I get you now. It's been a while. Me and you don't kind of work on a few things, share a few ideas about collaborating on different aspects. Well, I don't ever think so. Don't ever think of collaborating on health reporting because me know they do a lot of health reporting, and you are always doing health reporting. Let's talk about, what inspire you in a landscape side. We all want to discuss politics because now it's trending. We all want to talk about human rights because now emotional. Other people want to talk about other things there where they come in with resources. You have chosen health reporting as your beat. What inspire you for, focus more on health reporting?
Yeah, thank you. Firstly, it gets to do with my background. I mean, my academic background. My academic background is science. Not science I do. And then halfway through university, I realized not to scientist I want to be. And not writing I want to do. I mean, journalist. And, but, no education is irrelevant. I mean, it depends on how you put them into use. So if I get into journalism field, of course, although a lot of these what I talk about now, I come for no I'm later. You know, you dey learn as you dey go. At some point I struggle. I mean, I ask myself, what I go do? Now science no more maybe. So in fact, my major was biology, my minor was agriculture. And I asked myself, what I would do with anything in there as a journalist? Because we assume from that level, because I not been go media school, I mean journalism school. So when you go journalism school, you are more enlightened. Yeah. I mean, I just feel say, if you're not a journalist, you get for study English, you know, literature and things and that. But as you go, you mature like I say, and then you can realize that there is what is called specialization. And, you know, beat reporting and science journalism, now one of the most prominent in the world. We also get, for people that we not go understand what in that mean, we also get business reporters, you know, and various other bits in journalism. Although this no very prominent in we own environment. But like you say, some of we don't work underground for do this, and this is very dear to my heart. You ask what inspire up, that's personal experience. I mean, we all they try for access public health services. I mean, we go and see what's in the happen, you know, and to solve some of them problems in the past we talk about them. And we say best than the media.
It's very interesting. You know, we never know these stories, background stories, so it's quite interesting. And I think this is what we should do more as a media. We get journalists that will come with and media and say, this person, don't they do this, but he's doing very well in the media because he get this background. Quite recently, we get a medical doctor. We come up and say, okay, I want for the right a lot more. You know, and in this bit where you choose, it's for us. I know it's like for you. It's difficult to get people to talk to because if you want doctor, specialist doctor, in the hospital, they are very busy. They say, oh, I have to go to surgery, I have to go do this, I have to save lives. For them, that's more paramount than coming to radio and TV and educate people. We're also very important, so I don't know whether they're knocking over and so how do you do it? How do you get these people around for talk about these issues them? And as you write a lot of stories, you share their views, how do you get them to talk to you even though they're equally busy with their work that they do?
Yeah, nothing you touch on, so we're very much important for all beat reporting, but especially for the health sector. I will talk about this because this based on we own experience, because Narande we don't do. You know, anytime I get opportunity, like if I attend programs, who say health ministry officials, I get the opportunity for talk. I can tend for emphasize on this, how difficult. In fact, I can say reporting on health is the most difficult. Maybe this can be subjective because Namio area, somebody else go talk about the same thing, but this is real. And what he make them very important is, like what they talk about health, how important it is. I mean, we don't get beaucoup episodes, I mean, in terms of emergencies, but we see where we get health emergencies, how they bring life to a standstill. We've been there during Ebola, we see them. We've been there during COVID, and now they deal with Mpox. It affects every sphere of life. So, and in fighting against this, we know the role the media they play. So, coming back to the issue of how to get people to talk, it's difficult, and it has affected a lot how we do our job. But there are factors that, you know, I have observed, you know. Firstly, you know, then they're afraid. A lot of them, then they're afraid. And the excuses they want to give is we they misinterpret them.
Because
the professionals. Then say, nah, a highly professional, you know, sphere, and they're not officially competent enough. There is truth, some truth in that, I have to admit. But then this is not going to solve the problem, and that is what is perpetuating the problem. You're not talking to us. You are not giving us the opportunity to grow in this. And report, we have to report. We're not going to sit on them and say because we're not competent and we're not going to talk to we will not go report. We get for report. And if you not talk to we get for continue. For, some of the reporting they will do, yes, you get some element of, you know, misinformation in them. But that's, again, because you are not talking to us.
Definitely. And myself can always get that issues there, even with other beats, as you say, you know. I write a lot of economic stories, and it's difficult to get people to talk figures, you know. They think, say, we misinterpret, and people always report the politics behind the figures. So you call big figures, people not even what's the perspective behind these stories? And I also understand the challenge when you report health. We have a lot of competing things there. The only time we serious about health reporting is when we have a pandemic.
Yeah.
Ebola there now, we all the top health reporters. If there is Mpox now, we all want to report on that day. But in periods where we not get epidemics, no pandemics, no emergencies, how you they manage that day, still pushing out health stories when they are competing needs? People they say, okay, what about agriculture? People they say, we are angry at the country, and a lot of other things. How do you manage these two competing interests?
Yeah, and these things, they get some kind of connection. So the reporting we do on health is when we get emergency. And interestingly, from my own point of view, if health reporting been the thrive from a long time, some of these emergencies that we get, if we're not able to avoid them, we go minimize the impact. Because let's take, for example, Ebola, where it come. That not to just Sierra Leone, even at international level, there was very little information about Ebola. Even in the international media, we been a report based on the experience in the Congo, the DRC, because now Ebola start and then they don't get more outbreak than other countries. And at the time, it had very high fatality rate. And that's what we talk about. And in a way, that it proved for be counterproductive. Because as soon as we talk about Ebola, we start to say, people then can die because Ebola, they kill beaucoup people. And then they affect the response effort. Because people were like, okay, if you get Ebola, you die already. Yeah. It feeds in the resistance, end up for C. So you see how reporting is very important. But if we be the report, even though I say the problem of lack of information are being global, if we be the report something, we don't get a core of journalists in this country, we get some level of understanding. We don't report differently from how we report. Yeah. So it took us a long time to learn some of these things that we end up, the way we end up for report. Yeah. So if we cultivate this idea of reporting, whether in health, whether in business, whether in arts and culture, environment, along the way, we they get improved. The fear in the professionals for talk to us not going to be there. But I mentioned, say, there are various factors. And the fact that then the fear not just one. Honestly, there are many others. And one very important one also is a lot of people, and this cut across. They are not necessarily afraid of talking to you because they think you don't know what you are saying, but because they are afraid of what you may expose. Sometimes inadvertently. There's a lot of corruption. Of course, we don't need to, this is something that we all know is happening. It's like, then journalists say, just push them away. Because if you bring journalists closer, they can discover something. We know what they discover. So some of them, not them fear back. So
and also, I think the other fear is that most times people politicize the issue. So if you go to a hospital, you talk to a doctor, it talks a medicine all day, things are difficult to not get water, it brings a bad name to the government.
Yes.
Then people, they look at that doctor, they say, okay, not let this government. So that's why they try so hard. Now, few of them can even just step out and talk about these issues.
Sometimes with them press, really.
Yeah.
They know say this. If I not talk about,
not talk,
nothing all day. And I agree with that.
And I think communication. So how you manage the issue of communication? Because there was a time when I think, say, if you can communicate, you can talk about any issues. But no, the more I go into journalism, the more I start reading books, the more I start to forget some journalism education. I know say there are different types of communications. And one person I will really commend now, Al Thomas. He's always willing to talk, and he's an expert at health communication.
Yeah.
How, as journalists, should you create that balance between reporting health issues? Because you really need some specifics on how to communicate health matters compared to other things. Then.
Yeah. You mentioned he's an expert in communication, and I think that tells the whole thing behind it. Some of the reasons why we face the problem with the professionals, whether they're afraid for talk to you because they get something for hide, or whether they're afraid because they misinterpret them, because they themselves lack media literacy. And that needs to be resolved. Harold knows communication. That is why he will not be afraid to talk. Of course, at the level of where the services are provided, that's another thing. You mentioned, for instance, they're not going to talk to you because if they talk, they go say, oh, this person, they undermine the government. Because they are saying, water not day, for example. And if water not day, water not day, you're not going to do your job. Then you go just sit down, people then they die.
So sometimes these things we talk bring change. Again, a typical example,
yes.
you know, King Herman Old Government Hospital. My wife was there, so you know, out of curiosity, I just pass around, ask the cleaner, what are they? He said, what's not there? I know clean the complaint. And I watch the tank, what's not there? Back of the hospital, you see this the septic, the leak, and there was, you know, place all messy. And I put down there up on Facebook, just a short post on Facebook. And the nurse called somebody, somebody called me and said, no, this is not true. I said, you reach not true. The pictures are there. The following day, Ministry of Health was there. They put water up at the tank, they clean the place, make it, they snap, and look at the hospital now. So, it may not be care about whether they are making as if it was not true.
Yeah.
You spoke up, something happened.
Something happened.
This is what we need to do in the health sector.
We deal with scenarios like this a lot of the time. Sometimes we don't report on them. We don't pursue stories. We sometimes not deliberate, not corruption, they ban them. Sometimes not ignorant, sometimes the person, no more in job, or you're not doing job. Then they rectify them. And would they end up not for report on them. And sometimes we'll get the opportunity for talk to them people, they will tell and say, when I get for understand, it don't mean saying a problem no more we can want for create, like the way we want to feel as journalists. We want let problems then solve.
If nobody speaks up, how possible?
And if nobody speaks, yeah. So you were there, you have evidence, but even with that, some people they say not to true. And these are things that all they face with. So back to the issue of communication, I feel say media literacy is very important. People need to take them, and especially in this era where we are talking about, explosion of information in the online space. So much so that even us as journalists, we are struggling. We don't even know how to deal with it. And we are trained to do that. But we don't even know how to deal with this information. What about the ordinary man who is not trained? So you need public officials, everybody, to know how to deal with public. And if they know, trust me, some of the fears them when they deal with in a good day. Because you don't know how to talk to me. If we come, we as journalists, we are regulated. I'm not go crazy for go to go sit down, for go to go write just because I want to spoil somebody. Laws are there. We are talking about the IMC laws, but also, recently there have been laws that have come up, even if we are not happy with them, but they deal with some of these issues. The cybersecurity law, for example, they address issues like this. Talk to us, and let's dialogue. If we dialogue, we can solve this problem.
Definitely. Okay, keep staying with me in the program. Of course, I get in Kemo Cham, and then I have to discuss issues around health reporting generally. So here on Stop Press, we just want to discuss the issues making the news on the newspapers. We're bringing the people who cover these very uncomfortable bits and sometimes can get in challenges there, and it helps to spread the message. And particularly this month, we have a lot of health discussions going on. We get things like cancer awareness month, and other health issues. The only tell they focus on them, the way the month comes, and there are programs, there are press conferences we cover and we're done. We know they keep for follow through, and these are very serious issues that we for they continue for the report on. And so, Kemocham, we can take one of the most uncomfortable things in reporting health. Is the topics then where we can report on. There are some sensitive topics, there are some uncomfortable topics. I'll give an example of this. There is this our publication. I think you will share the screen that we put out. I think the technical post we put out the screen, and definitely viewers can look at them. It's our Truth newspaper this morning, and the lead story there is it's very interesting. It says, "Giving heads up." That's the headline, and we don't get a lot of call from people, and it's a conversation is going on around this story. But this story basically is it's entertaining and it's educative. If you look at oral sex, which is something that people don't talk about, right? From we being kids, we grow up in a home. It's a Christian home. One day, parents don't talk what sex education to you. It's like a taboo. So you go outside and you learn some of these things. And you form your opinion, but the world is going in such a way that people need to discuss these uncomfortable topics like this. Yeah. So as somebody who's been in the sector reporting health, how do you balance it? You of course, you're a Muslim, you get your own personal religious beliefs, your own traditional beliefs, but you have to pass on uncomfortable messages like these, topics where people, they don't even want to discuss. Things like some people put on paper, front page and all that things. How do you report on these uncomfortable and sensitive topics without, hurting other people in society, not stepping in your boundaries?
Yeah, so we go through a lot of training. I mean, even if because of the level of, specialization here, with focus on health in this case, even though it's low, but we don't get good training them. And a lot of the time, some of this training get to do with how we use information. Let's look at the general reporting environment. For instance, nothing is more sensitive here than issues that concern with security. I mean, national cohesion. I mean, we don't do training inside and they talk about, yes, you can see a piece of information, that's true, but then how you put them, they make the difference. You don't just talk something or report something because if you say not true. What about if you report on them and then it leads to mayhem? What's in your goal? I mean, at the end of the day, we try for prevent, harm. So if you report and then you cause harm, it don't defeat the purpose. So the same thing with health. You got to be very careful with the use of the word. I mean, you don't want in the first place where the audience, we want attracting attention, the moment you see what you write, it get pushed away from it.
I remember vividly, there was a time when it was almost a taboo for reports about FGM. You don't remind about FGM na radio or write on a newspaper. Even now that the space don't border open with the right button freely, there are people who are uncomfortable, because even the diction as you talk. Some people then, I remember a colleague of mine do interview about FGM, and one person said, I talk to you, so, but you can't use the word FGM. It's not genital mutilation. They get their own diction and words for use. How do you balance that?
Yeah, I know.
But the reality is that most times you talk about it's FGM. Now people they know.
FGM,
so how do you balance that between what people are uncomfortable with and what people actually know?
So sometimes you have to understand some of these jargons, then they change with time. And now people they will get special or vested interest in these issues. Now they can change them in the end, and then can only change for a reason. There was a time you are saying, for example, up to now, of course, we will talk about FGM. But then there was a time they came up and said we should be saying female genital cutting, because cutting more, gross than mutilation. Not many people even know the meaning of mutilation. So they're saying, if we use the word cutting, then they go understand. Imagine cutting somebody's genital. Even though I say, I give the scenario about if you get a word, how you use them, will determine whether you attract the attention of the person or not. You as a journalist, they don't train we, and this is what makes the difference between us and the ordinary man. So when I say how you use them, sometimes you get for hit the nail on the head. I mean, you don't beat about the bush. You don't change it because you get for explain how it is. Because that's the way people get for understand it. But there is a limit as to how we can restrict ourselves. I mean, if you report on something, there can a lot of the issues there can only be one way of saying them, and if there is only one way of saying it, you have to say it for the people to understand. But we get a lot of leverage as communicators, trained communicators. We know how to play around to make sure that we pass the information the right way. After all, then they tell we say, I mean, you don't do justice by reporting or talking to your audience so that they have to resort to the dictionary for the look of the meaning of the words way they use. You want to use words as simple as possible. I mean, and then they come into play where they report if they talk about specialized areas like this. I mean, uncomfortability about terms, for instance, here, how do you discuss oral sex? I mean, whether it's good or it's bad, how do you discuss it without dealing with the real issues that are there? I mean, sometimes we have to deal with that, but I mean, it all is in your hand as the journalist. I mean, to look like for a middle ground.
Yeah, middle ground. So, personally, in your pursuit of, giving health stories out, you don't ever get to that point where, you have been targeted or people that don't look you some kind of way. I'm saying this from a background. I'll give you an example again. We don't do a story here about LGBTQ. I have a few friends where they look, like say, either you are gay or the organization owner get, and then they want to promote, or they don't give some money for that day, and if people still look you like say, this person are gay, I'm making they promote LGBT. And I tell them, it's not about you personal. When you have a media, it's creating a open space
for everybody.
This person at this person at this. You come and have a conversation. As long as it's civil, it's legal, you can still preach certain message. And because most of what we are looking at the human rights of the people there. It's not about what they do, but you can't say because this person is gay, you go kill her. No. So have you ever had that uncomfortable middle ground? People they attack you because of what you're putting out content on health issues?
Yeah, we get that a lot. The level of that, it differs with issues. Yeah. But since you mentioned, LGBT, which is one of the most perfect example I get for Guy, the experience I go through. This is a long time ago, but I think it's still very relevant because we still share. We live in a very conservative society. Usai people feel like religion is more important than anything, but also it depends on the circumstances. I mean, we tend to frown at one thing and then ignore another thing, sometimes worse than some of these things. I mean, this was around, I think, 2012-13. I reported on the experience of a group of sexual minority people. And then, actually what happened was first, a group, some journalists, some media organization reported on them. And the report was bad. So one of these people knew me at the time. I had reported on them, and we became friends. And they thought because I was a journalist, they feel like I could go with them to this journalist who reported on them, just to explain to them to understand. Because from what they saw, they did not know what they were writing about. And this is a major problem. We don't talk about how sometimes we can be so personal about issues, emotional. We get ourselves involved. So I go there, journalist to journalist, not to tell you how to do your job, but to explain to you so that you will understand. And they receive me very well. I mean, we talk fine. The next day, I was on the paper myself.
They don't say you're a member of the community.
Say, it's a long time. I don't go remember the exact content, but basically I was defending LGBTQ people. That was what the story. And they put a very funny image of me, which they got online. There were a lot of photos of me that they could have done. The idea was to destroy my image. Yeah. And, as far as that publication was concerned.
This man, a member of the LGBT community,
yes, they support them. Yeah. So, and why I give this example also? Because this came from our own constituency, journalists themselves. And this is a major issue. A lot of the problems we don't face, even outside that, they come from journalists themselves. If you report on something that they feel like now the government now they try to make look bad. We don't talk about this. When you report on, the services in the public health sector, people they say. But what people fail to realize, a lot of these things, for example, that happen in the health facility, the minister, for God's sake, doesn't know about them. Sometimes, maybe they don't even provide that health facility what they need for doing their job. But somebody's not doing their job.
Maybe.
If we're not reporting them, how the minister going to know? So,
I will agree with you to a very limited extent. But me think say, as Minister of Health, these are things you for know. You don't go Minister of Health, you don't need to apply constituency.
No, hold on.
You for in touch.
I understand what you say, but there is a lot of things that can happen under your sector, your ministry, that you may not be aware of. I understand.
I will blame you.
I mean, we blame you, yeah, because now we're not.
You blame the president for anything.
Exactly. So we not expect you for let you know what's in there happen. For example, na Kailahun, a particular health center, we not expect you for let you know that. Yeah. But we expect here you run your ministry in such a way that somebody is monitoring up to the lowest level of the service provision. And if that didn't happen, some of them problems and they are not go happen.
And a certain CSO. I don't want to be specific because the SSF gets issues where they not even want may you talk about it. A certain CSO put out a report about the health sector. Various areas in the health sector talk about whether or not get good medical facilities, whether or not get wash facilities, whether or not get medicines, whether or not get this. It was a very comprehensive report and they put it to the Ministry of Health. And at some point, I was reporting that at that time I write a lot of stories. I reported that story 1, 2, 3, and the person called and say, this they make we look bad in the eyes of the ministry. This is a report you put out.
The same
this same organization.
organization.
And they said the ministry even threatened that we're not going to do Okutuna again because they put this kind of bad content out. And I remember the outgone president had a discussion with the minister and other people. They asked questions around this thing. And the minister was honest enough to say, yes, these challenges are there. We know these challenges there. We work on solving them. When I don't know what we want. But this CSO, they're afraid for even talk about that because it affects a relationship with the ministry and the overall work. These are the challenges people have.
Yeah, this speaks to what you talked about earlier, even for us as the media. It's not justifiable, and not to sue you for me, and a bad for the organization for get back to you for telling why you come up with the press release in the first place.
Yeah, a whole report.
You don't in the report. You don't do, and that means the problem there. Yeah. Anyway, that's another thing. I know we have a lot of that kind of problem, So sometimes then concern, not necessarily for solve the problem on the ground. Some of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
Now for just satisfy them donors. You go to your donor, you get on the report, say you see, now this we don't report. Then you are guaranteed that your fund is coming. But definitely. This is why then call we, the further states. I mean, as journalists, we are supposed to be independent. We don't care what government think. We don't care what civil society think. Now the public interest now they serve. So definitely. You report on what you report, let the people then know. Yeah.
Another very topical thing in the health section in reporting is about jargons, the use of data and statistics. Just like work reports the economy, you get some data, there's always a perspective to it. So if you say there's a reduction in the price of rice, and you say 70% of rice now are locally grown, this is just an example I'm just giving. Yeah. And the first question people ask, how you get that data? What speaks to that data? Which is that data they speak to? And most times in the health sector, we get the data, and our colleagues will take this data and just put it out there. And so some people are uncomfortable because you put out the data, you don't give a background for speak to this data. So how do you do it and also you get a crop of people where they come together in health reporting, a couple of training. How do they pass on this message? Say, it's not just about putting data and percentages. It's about explain this data so even the least man can understand. Like we were not figure friendly, we still can read and understand the content.
So this is now one of the importance or the significance or the benefit of specializing in whether not health or business. Because when you specialize, you continuously report on this area. I mean, dealing with data is not easy. But then that reporting way to do over a course of period, you get acquainted to this. You learn along the way. Training is very important, but we don't get training opportunities all the time. We are talking about a country where we don't even appreciate, we don't even think that we should be specialized in reporting. And not all the time would they get international training, opportunities for international training. So if you report on this with time, you go understand, you cultivate, contact them, sources them within this sector. We understand, we go ahead. So sometimes, to answer to your question, we fall back to people who understand this. I do that a lot. Yeah. I mean, this is one of the weaknesses as journalists, whether you're a health reporter or not, we don't like to consult. We just look for rush for public. Sometimes now because of this breaking news, we just want to break the news. And in the process, you don't even care whether the news way they break, whether the people they understand. So it's a problem. One thing I have, for me, I don't even like breaking news. I hate it in the first place. That title, the breaking news, I hate them. I don't like them. So, and now in this era, I mean, you can never have breaking news as a journalist. Because before you the reporter, I'm already there out there. I mean, people, almost everybody gets smartphone. What happens? Somebody they don't say, I don't snap, I don't say now. So why you the rush for breaking news? Now the difference between us now and as journalists and these other people, we give detail and we give context. So that is where explaining the data rather than just putting it there. Say maternal mortality, for example, has gone down. Now this. I mean, explain what it means so that the person will understand what maternal mortality means. Yes, yeah, I agree with you.
That's what Milek for all the time. We all can get this story. You put out yesterday. We put out 2 days after. But it's about how you package and the angle we use for share the stories. And another important thing is quite personal. You have a lot of opportunities, whether it's health reporting, whether it's training, and you, unlike Sierra Leonean culture for share, you always willing for share. I give a couple of examples. Say, I spent like 8 months or so in the Gambia, being editor of Fatu Network. It was through you contact somebody, contacts you, and you submit my name, and that was how it happened. And a couple of other training there. I get other training. I don't go out of the country, and you are being like this contact person. How do you do it? I don't know. You don't seem to forget the deep Salian culture. You guess what? You keep it to yourself. You travel a lot most times, but you still have these opportunities and you expose other people to it. So that's how we grow.
Honestly, if you find yourself in anywhere and you concern only on you, it's not even good for you, because there is no way that you alone can be sufficient. Because first of all, we have to learn from each other. If you just feel like any benefit we can, you no more forget them. How you will learn from the other people we they work with? And I dedicate myself to journalism in such a way that I feel like I have a role to play to, promote journalism, to develop journalism, to make sure that we get the next generation. So whatever I do is geared towards that. Now, in terms of sharing, I mean, honestly, it never crossed my mind. I just feel like if I see opportunities, I need to share them. Yeah. I mean, people have to get them. Me alone cannot get all these opportunities. Let's share one example.
Who keep this opportunity, even if you need benefits there?
First of all, you can forget that faith day, regardless of what you believe in, whether you're a Muslim or Christian. If you believe in God, you know, say what's in a yon, you're not going to miss.
Definitely.
You refusing to share, thinking that if I share, this man will get him, me not go get him. First of all, I feel say you not believe in God in the first place, because if you believe, I know say that in another topic, not everybody believe in God. But for me, if anything, I think that is the basis. There was a program that I attend. Now the announcer, I get on through somebody, and I share them, even though me back they apply. Sadly, I mean, more than pick from Sierra Leone. I went to attend this program, and then I found out that in some countries you have up to 3 people coming. Small Gambia, you were there, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of population, when you compare Gambia, I mean, anything what they do, here is far bigger. The impact tends to be bigger here. In that program, for instance, you had 2 people from Gambia and only 1 person from Sierra Leone. So the point was that sometimes they're not necessarily they look at, say, now one person. Sometimes now so it can be. Now one person will look for that country, but sometimes it's not that. It's about who is doing what. And that is the problem we get in this country.
Your social media trail. So man, not say you, as a professional, they watch your pages there.
Your pages them.
Comments,
nowadays, when they apply for opportunities, then they tell you, links to your social media platforms. And this is other problem. I'll talk about this briefly. Until now, we no value online, the online space. Many media houses don't have website because they don't feel like it's important. Now you get journalism, if you publish their story, all they care about is the newspaper, the hard copy. Newspaper industry is dying. People don't even know that. Online, everything is online now. So if you apply for some of these opportunities, they tell you say share link. They don't get time for telling you say upload the newspaper. So if you don't get the thing online, how you go? And a lot of the opportunities that we don't share, now this is not the problem where the journalism don't face. They not get sample works. Then if you're familiar with this term, if they invite you, some of them people already organize them programs. Let's say for health, for example, if you are organizing a training for health journalists, who are you likely to select between somebody who specializes on where they report on and consistently, even if you're not good, compared to somebody who know they report on health, now just floats, just the advisor. Who are you select?
Definitely, because we don't
because we want that knowledge there for continue. Because the person don't know already, and we want for capacity, and we want for make sure say he know a lot in that.
It's interesting for know that even there are some people who they're not even focused on the reporting the bits that they do. Some of them is just about whether money they do. I've also had that experience. I said, don't go out to go do one program when I was the only Sierra Leonean there, and the person tell me out. I said, I called 2 other people there. You colleague there, you say this person. I said, yeah, Sabia. You say, Sabia. So call it. But the first thing you ask me, I don't know there.
Yeah.
So that was a turn off for the organizers.
It's a big
come first,
problem.
Can get the knowledge and all that. Then you could talk about the money.
It's a big problem. Now, something where you talk to where I think is very important. And I think Dan they na responsible for the low level of specialized reporting, because if you specialize, now you get to go out and look for these events or programs, or sometimes not to events if you go to, now field you go.
Yeah.
For example, on health, if I want to report regularly on health, not all the time they organize programs where they will give me transport. A lot of the time, now me get put me in my pocket and go out, go to the communities, and these people where they talk to, you know, sometimes now you they put you in your pocket because of the condition we meet them. You know, say that they expect you to give them something, and your conscience not go allow for you left them and give them. And if you, the poor journalist, you know, you struggle with your salary, I go deal with that. But if you know your purpose, trust me, you get for do what you get for do for make sure say you maintain that that in the way they do.
Okay, Kemocha, I'm continuing for day with we here on Stop Press. You know, we want to take a short break and a few minutes, and when we come back, we will continue the conversation. My name is Christian Conte, and this now Stop Press.
With bad propaganda, I mean the foreign press. Bad things are blown out proportion and spread all around. But the good things of the island they will never mention. Like our scholars have sit and passed every test. There's nothing about that in the foreign press. You know our music is rated amongst the best. There's nothing about that in the foreign press. But if a man steal a mango or breeze blow up a woman dress, bet your life we making headline in the foreign press. True, true. Lamba bombemba.
You listen to Truth Radio 103.9 FM, live from Freetown. That's who the last.
Welcome to Truth Radio 103.9 FM, and you, of course, they get we across the social media platforms on Facebook and, of course, we YouTube channel. My name is Christian Conte, and the program na Stop Press, and I get a colleague of mine here, don't take us in business for health reporting. And, they report other bits then, but health reporting this in specialization. And interestingly, it's the first myself, say, Kemocha gets a science background, and no wonder he's passionate about it and he do so well in health reporting. So, Kemo, a lot of people, they want for reports on health. They might not get a science background like you. They might not get all the tools and all that. And you think, say, somebody can successfully report health issues without some background training in health-related terms and other things there?
Yeah, you certainly don't need a background in the area, academically, for the report on them. Of course, we know even journalism itself. When I got into journalism, I had not even a certificate in journalism. But we know that there are very prominent journalists. So you see, globally there are very prominent journalists who didn't study. Even here, we get them, who may be say their academic background to journalism. So if you can do journalism without a journalism degree, although it is encouraged to study it.
We'll just clarify that side. Most times, you can start journalism without a journalism degree. But what they make you become a good journalist is improving. Their training there, their workshops there, their specialized training. So a person thinks, say, okay, I don't get journalism degree. I don't need any other background in journalism. I just come.
No. You're not going to ever make them in that field. So the training very important. I was going to come to that. I don't go through a lot of training, but some of them trainings are like how we talked earlier here. You get for show the people where they provide the opportunities that you deserve them. And then they get for be determined by your work, your interest, your commitment. I don't get opportunities both locally and internationally where now the people then just they write to me for tell me say we invite you for this. And how they get for no? Because they see me work online. So, to speak to the specific issue where you bring up, you don't need the science background for be a science reporter. You don't need the health background for be a health reporter. But what's important is if you don't decide, say you want to be a health reporter, consistency. And with that consistency, with time, you they familiar with the issues where they report on. And what's in bad now, where they report on something you don't get no idea about. I mean, if they talk about something repeatedly, I mean, you know, we are not supposed to be experts.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. As journalists, we are not supposed to be
No, sure,
experts.
you can talk about something, you
Yeah.
know, like, I think the last edition of this program I had the two presidents of, one president in a Sports Writers Association, Swasal, the other president was women in the media. And I get to go do some background research about sports because I don't report sports. I'm not quite a sporty person locally and all that. And the only sports stuff, watch Manchester United, the beat we, I go see the quiet, you know, yeah. So you get to do some extra reading, familiarize yourself with the topic before you report. You can't report about health, just grab one and most likely report about health. No, it doesn't work like
It
that.
will tell in your reporting because the way you deal with the jargons, we don't talk about jargons here, you know, how you are able to explain some of the issues the way they report on. If you just write, sometimes even the expert themselves, not to everything they know area about. So you get to explain to them, I mean, at that level. And our role, as you know, as journalists, is to simplify these things to the best of our ability for letting people
So,
capture.
Kemo, you get this network, you know, I don't follow some of your networks. There is, I don't know, is it Kombra Media Network?
Kombra Media Network, yeah.
You do some stuff with Focus 1000,
Yeah.
all health related.
Yeah.
You get a network across the country, you get people there. It's a whole structure.
Yeah.
What kind of work could they do as journalists that we don't decide? There's even Health Reporters Network.
Yeah.
I trust you pioneer that.
Yeah, are they part of
Yeah,
them as
so
well?
how is that happening?
So first with the Kombra Media Network, now health journalism come together. But now we are under the platform of the what is called the Kombra Network, which is established by Focus 1000. Focus 1000 we then create them as a health focus agency. But over the years they don't expand in thematic areas of operation to include education, social services, you know, environment. You know, so as that happen, the Kombra Network back they expand. So because we work with them, you know, as a grassroots community agency. And the Kombra Network comprises religious leaders, both Christians and Muslims. And then we have the mainstream civil society. We get market women and traditional healers and the media. So the media arm, now we call the Kombra Media Network. We media coordinate. And they established around, you know, Ebola time. You know, 2013, 2014, I think 2014, you know. Although this idea they longer than that, the religious leaders, Christag and Islak, them be don't in existence, and the one that we form Focus 1000, Mohamed Bello Jallo, Dr. Senge, that's the chief minister in Dadi, and Dr. Pratt. They been work at the Ministry of Health, at UNICEF at some time, and they work together. And they realize at the time, the major public health issue in the country now being, I mean, vaccinations, you know, coverage of vaccine. And then they involved religious leaders. Over time, the momentum died. So later, they all don't scatter, you know, Dr. Pratt Binde proposed, at the Ministry of Health, and Mr. Senge Binde somewhere, focused on research and that kind of stuff. Pajalo was working with UNICEF, but outside the country, all over. So later, they come together, they retire, and then they decide to form Focus 1000. And they use that experience, where they work with religious leaders, very, very important group of people, to reenact or re-establish what they now call Kombra Network. Over time, then bring all the other components. You can never do anything and succeed without the media. And nobody respects the media like Pajalo does. I mean, Mohamed Bello Jallo, the head of Focus 1000. So this is how he brought together the Kombra Media Network. So with a report initially, like I say, on health, but then over the years, we don't expand. Now, we'll come into the Health Reporters Network, because the Kombra Network, even though we are health reporters, but we are tied to a particular cause. And when Focus 1000 been formed, the major focus, up to now, that not change, now maternal and child health. You know, after the war, as everybody knows.
They say that now they name come, so you focus on the baby in first 1,000.
In first 1,000 years, yeah, this. So you see, you know, we used to top the rate of maternal death in the world, you know, 1,360, something like that. And that they did so for a very long time, interventions, of course, by the government and partners like Focus on Housing, it don't lead to USA.
770.
Yeah,
And it don't go up
it would significantly, and that's a very huge change. A lot of partners are involved, no doubt. Not going to get into just one person, but this is what has happened. So we've been the focus on that, reporting on them, but like I said, things don't change. Now, with the Health Reporters Network, our area of focus is wider. You know, it's not just on those areas. We go beyond those areas. That's where the difference. But interestingly, most of us, majority of us who are in the Health Reporters Network are also in the Comra Media Network, vice versa. So this is
So
how
what you go say to some Sierra where they have the opinion that, you know, some set of reporting, particularly health, is triggered by maybe resources and all that, and figures they fluctuate. For example, you know, the reporting on HIV/AIDS, you know, every year in December, figures come out. Quite recently, somebody just dropped some story. We are announcing our whole story, and how there has been an increase in HIV/AIDS. It's about 800,000 or so, or 88,000. When we know say last year in December, we would do the figures were about 71 to 77,000, something around that. And you know, people just drop these figures, and there is a perception, wrongly or rightly, that the more inflated the numbers are, the more resources and therefore handle the issues. How do you play into that as journalists yourself?
So we talk about data, like how we source data, and honestly, the right institutions and they also you to use data for. You self-mentioned, you say December. Yes, because usually on December 1st is World AIDS Day. And it is events like this that data then can come up if there is any change. But there is a data where we get not to every year with the DHS. Yeah. Right now, as far as that data is concerned, the prevalence rate is 1.7. So if you get any data, any side, we're different from that. Until that study is redone, it's not correct.
So we call use a need for know the right side, forget data.
Forget data.
It's not just about
That's
having
the
data,
thing.
know the right side, forget data.
I see a story, I don't know if now the same story we talk about. This now a few months ago, about 2, 3, or even 4 months, I can't quite remember. The number was scary. And when I see the headline, even myself knows it, this is not true.
Not exactly.
And then I go attend the program weeks later, outside the NAS people were, and they talked about that. This again brings us to the issue of specialization.
I told somebody that. I said there is no way we'll get 88,000 and NAS not put out a statement.
Not put out a statement, exactly.
And NAS get timing.
Where did they put out their statement?
And
exactly.
December, they can't just know. They will say, okay, there has been an increase, but just from the blues, I even contacted the head of NAS, and he was like, "We don't know who said the police data and all that." Yeah, so these are some of the reasons why some people they not care to join them.
Exactly.
We use the figures, inflator, just forget trends.
I think misinterpret the person, misinterpret somebody.
And it was on traditional media.
Yeah.
If it's on social media, or
I go understand,
some unknown blogger, I will understand. Say this, they want likes and clicks. But traditional newspaper, you put the kind of figures and
that kind of number.
No reference.
You go call.
Definitely.
No matter what, you get for call if you're not familiar. Sometimes I understand the editors them, not necessarily specialized in this report. Then they work now for edit. So you get somebody they come, they bring health reporting for you, the editor. You get somebody they bring business report for you. I can understand, but that's what makes you.
Definitely. I said
the editor. You're an experienced
because at the end of the day, you get bad name. That's why I see figures. I'm like, G3, this figure are 2. They are open sources. You don't need for call safe. If you get AIDS data, there's no way NASA will put out that data. They get a website, they get all that channels there.
And you know,
confirm.
You know the thing about use of data. Anytime where you do write, whether not data or waiting, any piece of information, anytime where you write as a journalist, think about your reputation, and that's what I do. If I write this thing and it turns out to be wrong, what thing can they say about me? Where somebody knows you na peddler of false information, you don't finish. Nothing they come out of that emotion the way then they take them out.
And nothing is as embarrassing to a journalist for retract.
For retract.
Exactly. For retract. They say, okay, this was wrong. It's not wrong for do that if you make mistake genuinely, yes. but minimize it.
Minimize
if
it.
You don't attract social media, you don't interact 1, 2, 3 times, you lose your credibility.
Try for avoid them.
Definitely.
And the best way you go try for avoid them is by doing what in the profession say. I mean, consult, cross-check people.
And sometimes it's about the
Difficult.
diction. If you're not sure about 5,000, these things can save people there, about almost and all that.
Yeah.
But if you put on definitely, that means you forget very strong sources. As we wrap up, Kemo, let's look at things that are underreported. There are a lot of diseases the way they thrown under the carpet. Most times we hear about HIV and AIDS, maternal mortality, and a few other cancer. These are diseases the way get structures, you get people the way they in charge, possibly go interview. There are a lot of other, diseases that come up that are underreported because people are just not the monitor and maybe they not get some good structure. Things like hypertension. It's very common. We all get very old parents. We all get uncle auntie their way. Some even young.
Yeah.
Quite recently, I saw somebody get hypertension. The person was about like 45, and I was like, hey, hypertension for old person. And they are like, the age where they get hypertension, even they come down to some levels because of certain changes.
Lifestyle.
How do you ensure that we get to report these underreported things? And this thing then are the one that don't get money for do themselves. How do you take that in as a network?
Yeah. So we talk a lot about specialization here because all these issues are all they talk. The only way we go to solve them is when we specialize. Otherwise, we just go to float. Where something happen here today, we rush there. If na mudslide, we go report on, and today we forget about them. We don't do until other mudslide come. Then we go under, na 2 people in the fete, on a house don't broke, on a thief and don't thief, on a corruption. I mean, not bad for report on them, but waiting in parallel, we get a considerable part or segment of the media, the journalism, we specialize. That's the only way we go able to make impact. If made a report on health, there is so much to report on. It don't mean say I'm not going to report on general issues. I can report on other issues. I can report on politics sometimes, not all the time. Because I feel say we get enough reporting on politics. I mean, even if not the way we're supposed to work. Because a lot of triviality is involved in that. Also because we not get people the way specialized. I think for now, I can say this, the best specialized group of reporting in this country is the sport reporters. Yeah. Now, a network of health reporters that say this. This is real because I know how much struggle don't they go through. I mean, a lot of the people, I will say this, I know some people are not going to be happy, but 80% of the people we work with who are part of these networks, I mean, they're just there for the sake of their, like, where training opportunities come. They want to go attend. But they're not there because they consider themselves reporters. Yeah, that's the truth. And I face a lot of problem, like when these opportunities come, you don't select them, it's a problem. And we don't want to select, we want to
not there because they really like for doing.
Not because they want for that. Because if you really like for them, how would they approach them? Not so go approach them. But if we specialize, we promote specialization, some of them think them. You don't talk about hypertension. Young people are dying of diseases that we've been facing now for old people. And it's because of lifestyle. We're not discussing these things. Lifestyle is not just about love and sex as we see nowadays is dominant. We know, we say we create the agenda. We want to tell the audience things that we feel say they want for hearing because now they attract their attention. But we have to do better than that. There are things that them feel say not relevant, but more important to them than what thing we they talk about. We get for force it in a way. We get for because when they talk about them, people get to see
now we bring
the
the conversations come to center stage. People are discussing.
Then they discuss and
if you don't bring it to center stage, people don't.
Sometimes, because we know the talk, we don't know the implications of some of them things. We don't know the danger we will face in them. If we talk about them, take cancer, for example. It's killing people. Breast cancer is killing women. There is a story that happened a few months ago. I think sometime last year. Somebody shared, a colleague journalist shared a video of a lady who was suffering of breast cancer. The father was appealing for help. I mean, a few weeks later, I got back to this person and asked about the situation, said the lady had died. Apparently, by the time she came out, it was beyond, redemption. And these are some of the issues. A lot of these things people don't know. Yeah. I mean, the public health authorities not get that time the way we get as journalists for they talk to the,
And interestingly,
the people.
things like cancer, we only hear about breast cancer. And breast cancer, not just one of
Not
the
just
many
one.
cancers.
Not just
already.
one.
I know what
When they talk about cervical cancer, for example, there are many, very many other cancers, and they get for do with lifestyle. A lot of it. What you they eat, you know, what you they do, the activities, them, whether you they do exercise or not. These are things that we need for go to talk about, not just about APCS, LPP.
I know, and
You know.
definitely, Kemo. So you know, one of the things we are also encourage is like we need to specialize, not only in health. Health now one area, some journalists they can decide, okay, I'm looking at the economy, the environment. So, for example, the economy. And 2 or 3 years ago, I started to say, okay, this is my own niche. I want to write about the economy because I noticed, say, oh, I'm going to write about politics and maybe human rights. And I said, okay, let's just do something uncomfortable and different. And in Sierra Leone, there are very few people who know the right about economy. One person will stand out, Zainab Naoko. Apart from Zainab, there are other people, I won't say they are not, but I not share it. I won't speak to what I know. Zainab writes economic stories day in, day out, not a week in, week out, day in, day out.
Yeah.
And you don't trend so fast. I never follow your own trend. I maybe be on a weekly basis, but these are things we need to know. And when you write like health or economy, go get some more experience, some training, or read. Just read.
Read.
How for
that's
analyze figures. It's not something we all be like. I don't be ever like figures growing up. All my colleagues they know me. I'm not science. I don't get science background. I come from arts, so figures were like uncomfortable. But after a couple of training with Internews and other organizations, now I write a story and there are no figures there. I'm like, if I read stories, I watch, I don't see no figures. I'm like, it's not just literature.
Yeah.
You need to have some data, some figures, or speak to the issues. So what would you say to people that way decide, say, well, then just the report, they don't want to have a niche. Why important when you get specific side and know you say that this person the report, even though you report other side?
I think the most important is now that way they know more you go able to make the greatest impact. Just reporting, floating, you know they make impact. You just they go after them 100 Leon, 200 Leon, and they give you as transportation. I use them, they use you. Trust me. I mean,
And most of them say that PR coverage.
not PR coverages. I mean, the only reason why then they call you repeatedly now because you report how they want them. And when you say person they focus on report on inviting you because you report how you want time, you are not doing yourself a favor. Trust me, you are destroying yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you get for report negatively.
I hope we colleagues they listen. It's
I mean,
very interesting.
I hope they listen.
Yeah.
I know that it's not like I get riches.
We all
I
do.
not get house.
Yeah.
But trust me, I'm very content with how I live. To a point that I'm not going to sell my soul. Nobody not going to tell me, for I do something in my journalism profession, we go destroy me image just for satisfy. I'm not going to do that. But also that may happen because of the attention. I mean, the importance we attached to the work we do. A lot of the time in my newsroom, in fact, the only thing we make a newsroom is because that's where we process the news and all. But it's a training ground for me. And a lot of the time, I'm experience at it.
I always tell people that if Kemo go to a program, it's important. It has to be.
It has to.
Don't
It's
just
something that I'll
any
get
program, yeah.
news where I'll be able to write and satisfy.
Definitely, this is something we colleagues they need for know in the media. And Mr. Geda experienced, I had a reporter who came with a story, nice story, right and well, and it's and they sent on to the post. I'm like, what up? Why did you for send on to the post? For send on to our force.
For
Forget
less,
about-
yeah.
I said, if they pay for it, if it's a PR story,
Fine.
no problem. But if it's a news story, you send on to you get for trust. We say we're professional enough for
To do
right
the
time
story.
in a very balanced way. You're not paying for PR. If you're paying for PR, it's totally
different thing altogether,
So
yeah.
for you as journalists, the right to you send and force, they get approval. Say no. We know things that work. So if you know trust me for the story, let's drop the story.
It's as simple as
Very
that.
few people are bold enough to take those steps because of something you don't collect small thing.
That's
which is
the
very
thing.
trivial.
Because if you not collect something, that person not get mind for ask
Yeah.
yourself, say, share with me. Even if maybe sometimes they can do it, but not because they don't understand how in the media they operate. So you can explain to
Explain,
them.
yeah.
But if you don't receive money from them, I go explain for them. I just want to touch on something quick. Appeal to the editors, the gatekeepers. So these journalists when they come up, they are young, they are coming. What if they don't give them the media institution, learning institution? It's just the theory aspect.
definitely.
I mean, you get for come here, help them for realize the reality, how things they operate. Then we get for guide them. And I feel a lot of the problems that we face in the media right now are because of that guide. we lack them, we not they get them.
Yeah.
And editors, they're not fulfill, say, the job of the journalist, now for let just go normal, you go bring anything we want. Now you get for guide them. And now through the editors, then we go able to promote specialized reporting.
Yeah.
If the reporter comes, he just throw a report on you, and then you work on it and publish it like that. You know, if him want for no side the story come on, you know, advise him next time how for approach him. And as editors also now we get for promote this specialized reporting. I mean, it's in our interest. It's good for you as editor when you get very good stories in your newspapers. I mean, that people can. We are writing for a diverse group of people. Some of these people are professors. The issues that we are discussing,
They understand
they
past
know them
research.
better than us.
Definitely.
How you go expect let a professor read what you don't write if you not get something that we go learn from? I mean, and for let you do that, you talk about something here, the need for us logo to read.
Yeah.
There's no way you can give out what you have not taken in.
Definitely.
I mean, you get for read. Journalists, that's the thing that we don't do. We don't like it. We're very lazy, trust me. I mean, Israel and context, why I say journalists. Because in other countries, they are doing well. I mean, we go out, we attend programs internationally, we meet with other journalists, and we see how they perform.
Me as editor, I can just tell you, say, if you have a program, you know that we get program, like you they coordinate the program. Write the press release, share it to the press. Then you know how lazy we are. Not
How lazy we are.
Yeah.
Then they go publish and verbatim how you get them.
Yeah.
And where somebody...
I have that issues always. You say something, you say, no, so I want to know. But come on, at least we will change the headline. We will get the same headline on front page, like on a Monday. You know,
And sometimes some
what's
of
the
these
essence
people,
buying newspapers now?
some of these people no know. The press release, sometimes they feel like it fits their interest, but it can be written in a way that it will have better impact.
Definitely. Yeah.
The PR people are trained as PR. They're not necessarily trained as journalists.
My boss runs for the right who starts with journalism. He always tells us, it's a press release not to news.
Not to news.
A press conference not to news. It's a source.
Source
Where
of news.
Starts for gets the news.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kemocham. It's been, an interesting engagement and conversation. We'll keep these lines open, continue these conversations. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure some people really follow. We don't learn a lot. And like where we start at, you say, people always want the heated discussions, the heated debates, the politics. We get back and forth, but it's not always the case. We have those, but we mix up with very educative content like this. And now we're talking about a month whose health-related issues they come up. Cancer Awareness Month, and we're talking about other health-related issues. I make even with front page we come up with something where very irregular. Most people no one talk about most people shy away from because it's our culture. But we are bringing it out, discussing it, no matter what people they think. We don't talk about LGBTQ, no matter whether you see the street, you think it's gay, fine, it's good, all good. As long as we bring out things that society, where people then, they do behind the scenes, but don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about it, let's bring it to the fore, and we all go grow generally. Yeah. So before I let you go, just quickly, what are your expectations in terms of specialization and health reporting generally, because they build this movement for quite a long time, and I know the challenge there with some people there just can't, because say if I did at this beat, we are going to have training opportunities. But if you consistently do it, you get opportunities. Zainab travels almost every 2-3 months. She goes to events at the UN and other side there, all because they don't watch Interact Record now and see it consistent in reporting the economy. What will be your message to we colleagues there? We just no one reports specialized reporting, or just get it because they think there are opportunities there?
So it's either you get to a point so you realize, no, this is another part make progress, and you left. You left, you go other area. So I don't see people that don't practice as journalists, they left, then go into, you know, go call them professions because they're just floating. So all they are looking is for their daily bread. I mean, I've seen somebody recently, we left, later it tell me saying they do construction. And it's not like he even study construction. Yeah. It's like somebody who is just hanging around, somebody is sending them. Because in fee say there is nothing in journalism, but he failed to realize, say, now how he been they deal with the job, how he not taken serious, how he been they go to press conferences, then they give them, then, initially it used to be them 50 leon, they come to 100 leon. Now I think the minimum not 200 leon in the game, sometimes 300 leon. If you follow that thing, then you are not going to get anywhere. We get a lot of people who look around, who be frank enough. We get a lot of people who don't grow gray hair. Yeah. Today they don't have anything that they can show you. I mean, in terms of what in the London. You know what I get now at the back of my mind? I'm picking them 10, 20 years. if they ever ask me, what do you
What you
really
really
do?
do?
There has to be
Definitely.
something that you have to
Yeah,
point.
you have to
Whatever
show
job you are doing. So, specialization is important. I mean, and I think it's the key. It's the only way you can be able to make impact. You know, but specializing not mean say you know the report on other, areas. You can report on areas, but me feel say if you specialize,
It's better for you.
it's better
Definitely.
for you.
Thank you so much, Kemo Cham. You know, at some point in time, maybe we need to forget, I'll call it an editor's roundtable. Get these discussions,
That would
you know,
be very good.
peer review, and tell someone in school, you know. And thank you so much for joining me. This is all we have time for on Stop Press. You know, I don't need to talk to a colleague, Kemo Chamwe, an editor, and you can follow Mano Reporters. They're online. They do a very good job, you know. I don't go to the facility. They have very young people like us, and, you know, that they do their work, and you can follow them online and get some. It's one place I tell you to get credible information. Apart from Musa Media work, it's one place I can point and say, if Kemo Cham edits story, if he puts it out on Mano Reporters, it's authentic. Me can take her and run with that story without even cross-checking. That's how factual and credible the platform is. Thank you so much for joining us, and I want to also say thank you to the technical team, Simon and Ansue, they behind the mixer today. You know, DJ Muski, I don't know, he lost today no more, but at least I'm sure on Facebook, you know, will get the sound early now because, you know, Simon really a lot. Thank you so much, Simon. Thank you so much, Ansue, and thank you to all my colleagues at the newsroom for the support you have been giving me. And thank you also to, you know, me MD, you know, in the Blaze It Real. So it starts with health-related issues, and we're picking it up from there. And this week, we get more health discussions and very pertinent issues they border on, you know, we all as a country, as a people, as a nation. My name is Christian Conte, and this is how we wrap it up. Don't forget, this is Stop Press.
They're trying their best to stop our progress with bad propaganda. I mean the foreign press. Bad things are blown out of proportion and spread all around. But the good things of the island they will never mention. Like our scholars have sit and passed every test. There's nothing about that in the foreign press. You know our music is rated amongst the best. There's nothing about that in the foreign press. But if a man steal a mango or breeze blow up a woman dress, bet your life we making headline in the foreign press. True, true. Lamba bombemba, lamba rola, lamba de la de tila loba, la dombamba, tila la. We
You
had
listen
a
to Truth
little
Radio 103.9
riot in this
FM,
town.
live from Freetown. That's
The
who we
headline
last.
it got, you'll swear the whole island was burning down.
Ida jentadi Truth Radio Radio Gonga kan katemedere e tati toɓɓere jeenay FM
What the
Gonga
fuss
kan
about?
luttata
This happens in New York every day. You know our sportsmen are rated amongst the best. There's nothing about that in the foreign press. All the lovely buildings which shows our progress. There's nothing about that.
Antuso alisi kan konkobi angi atela an Truth Radio kan 103.9 FM Tatenye tamlopso
Radio True Leader. Radio True Leader. We rise every morning.